Okay, people hear us okay. Bill, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. It's nice to see you, Paul. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it definitely has been a while. So glad you're going to be making it over to the San Diego Bitcoin Meetup, which has definitely been on a roll since we had relaunched it in July after things had opened up a little bit. And I know we hadn't connected in a while, so I'd love to hear some updates from you. So joining us today on this Twitter Spaces, and for everyone that isn't able to listen, this is actually getting recorded alongside with some video. We'll publish this on YouTube, hopefully by later this week. And of course, this is really just a preview of what's to come at the next San Diego Bitcoin Meetup, which is tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. here at the Edge headquarters offices. So definitely check us out at meetup.com. Look for the Bitcoin and Open Blockchain Meetup and come check out in person Bill Fehr and then as well Steve Minnaar, who will be joining us on this Twitter space pretty soon. He's just working out some kinks and on the technicals. So yeah, before we get started, maybe Bill, give us a quick like 6-minute intro on yourself and what you've been up to and when you kind of got into the crypto space, and we'll cover a little bit about what Polyswarm is.
Sure, thank you, and thank you for having me on this today, as well as having me down tomorrow. I'm looking forward to visiting San Diego. It's been 4 years since I guess the last Bitcoin meetup I attended, which was somewhat my origin story
Nice.
for Polyswarm. So I think I'll just start there. I can expand later on how I got into crypto back in 2010 and all the things that led up to coming to your event in 2017. But in 2017, I went to your Bitcoin meetup, and I listened to two guys, Paul Makowski and Ben Schmidt, present a white paper on something called Polyswarm. And
Yeah.
I thought it was fascinating. I didn't understand much of the threat intelligence security aspect of it. I understood more about the ERC20 token that they were intending to use to facilitate this business model that they had cooked up, had created. And that's how I met them. And then 2 weeks later, I became, they're the founders, along with Steve Bossy and Nick Davis. And those four guys are the founders. And then 2 weeks after meeting Ben and Paul at your event, I became employee number one of Polyswarm. So that's how I got.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's yeah. I don't know if you actually knew that background, but that's how.
Yeah.
It's because of your event that I met those guys. So that's how I got involved.
Well, that's so awesome to hear. And soon we'll have Steve on here. He was one of the original organizers of the San Diego Bitcoin Meetup, and thanks to him, I actually met all the co-founders of Edge. And so this is a big reason why we really love the meetup scene, why we're contributing back to the meetup scene. And for any of those listeners out there, if you're in a city that maybe doesn't yet have a meetup, or there maybe is one, but they could use some help, and almost all of them can use some help with growing the meetup, helping organize, doing logistics, reaching out to speakers, all of that is definitely time consuming and something that we appreciate help with. So definitely go and help pitch in, because it does help grow the community. It helps bring together different projects, as can be clearly witnessed by Bill and his involvement with Polyswarm. So I do remember the meetup, and didn't know you joined so soon afterwards.
Yeah.
But that's awesome to hear. Let's give the audience a bit of a quick rundown on Polyswarm. I do remember the project. I remember it being regarding threat security. I don't remember exactly how the token operated. Maybe you can give us the quick 5-minute description of how all that operates.
Sure, and I'll tell you the what, and then maybe if we have time, I can get into the why we did it. But the what is
Sure.
we've designed and built a two-sided marketplace for the threat intelligence market, for the threat intelligence industry. So this is, to center everyone, this is the security industry, and the part of the security industry that we're involved in is cybersecurity, and the part that we're addressing is think of it as malware, such things as ransomware or malware that puts a Trojan on your computer so you can observe what you're doing. That kind of bad stuff that's out there in the cybersecurity world. So in this industry, there are millions of emerging threats that come on the malware landscape on the internet daily. And then there's all kinds of companies that are addressing the problem. So what we did is we thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if we could get all of these different companies around the world into one platform, and then let the people that consume threat intelligence, such as any large enterprise, banks, big security companies, big technology companies, governments, just about anybody that's moving any substantial amount of data needs to protect their data from having malware and various attacks coming into it. So the way they do this is, one of the ways they do this is they buy threat intelligence. So what we did is we built this two-sided marketplace. Think of it as simply as Airbnb, but for cybersecurity threat detection. And that's what's going on with it. On one side, we have suppliers, and they're some of the probably household names you've heard of, like CrowdStrike, Kaspersky, SentinelOne, and then a bunch of other security experts, including individual experts. So those are all the people on the supply side, and that's the kind of the crowdsourcing thing we've done. So you as a consumer, the people on the other side of the marketplace consuming this threat intelligence, you don't get just an opinion from one company. You get an opinion from multiple companies that are essentially weighing in on an opinion or a decision on whether something is, and it's very binary, whether something is malicious or benign. And so like renting in apartments, we have security vendors on one side that are providing apartments, like my Airbnb analogy, and on the other side we have consumers, people that want access to those apartments or access to that threat intelligence. And they're companies like Microsoft, Verizon, Bank of America, people like that are the consumers of threat intelligence.
Got it. So you've got this marketplace, and obviously I presume then that people are being rewarded to submit the threat intelligence. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. And then people are paying to collect the intelligence and gather that from the different sources?
Yeah.
Would that be an accurate description?
That's at a high level, that's correct. I mean, everyone is being rewarded. Everyone involved in the Polyswarm marketplace to participate is either providing or receiving some sort of a reward. And in our case, it's in the form of our ERC20 token. But you have these two sides. You have the suppliers, the security experts, and you have the consumers, the big enterprises. And then, to your point, you also have all these, what we call them as samples, these millions of samples that come into our marketplace. And they represent artifacts like a PDF or a Word doc or something like that, a URL. And they may or may not have malware attached to them. But the people putting those samples into our marketplace are also rewarded with our token. So everybody that's participating has to use the token. So that
now, is this a marketplace kind of like an open sea where there's people who are putting the product, which is the intelligence, onto some type of a blockchain, like if it's an ERC, I presume Ethereum, and then people are somehow purchasing it off the blockchain? Or is there more of like services that are with Polyswarm, the company, that is then issuing out and being the middleman between the suppliers and the purchasers?
Right. We're not so much the middleman as kind of the caretakers. We sit on the edge. The way we make money is we will take in, let's say, US dollars, take the bulk of that, 80-90% of that, chop it into tiny little bits in the form of ERC20 tokens and insert it into the marketplace. But we ourselves are not in the marketplace making any decisions. We don't have a hand in it. So I'll just take you through a real quick workflow that maybe will help center it. So a big company wants to know if an artifact is malicious or not. They send it into the marketplace and they attach a little transaction to it, a little bit of money, again in the form of an ERC20 token. That incentivizes all the engines that are inside this marketplace to take a look at it. And this is all automated. The engines are software, right? There's no humans involved in this. So this is all at machine speed and at large scale. So even though the transactions are microtransactions, the volume is rather large. And so then the engines, to finish the workflow, the engines take a look. The ones that want to weigh in and say, hey, that artifact is malicious, don't open it, don't send it through to your employee or whatever. They when they weigh in and say it's malicious, they have to weigh in by putting way we put it is put money where your mouth is, right? When they weigh in, they have to attach a little value, which acts as how confident they are with their opinion. So that's what's going on.
So it's less of a marketplace where you put the product up there and people shop for the product. Instead, it's actually the consumers that would put their information, basically request. It's almost a request-based marketplace. Here's what I would like. It's almost like, hey, here's a job posting. And then the people that want to go and take that, almost like a gig economy, will say, okay, I'll go ahead and give you the information based on this specific threat that you might be concerned about. And then I presume the user then can aggregate all of the responses and make it a more informed decision.
Yeah, the security operations centers in these large companies are aggregating everything and deciding what they do with it, quarantine it or kill it or whatever. But you experience this with your laptop. Occasionally you'll see something like when an email comes in, you might see a little message that comes up on your laptop. It says it's being scanned probably by Avast or some software like that. So think of it as that's what's going on, except it's not just one company scanning it. It's multiple companies scanning it inside this environment at scale.
I see. And I presume that it's the consumers then that are putting up these, in a way, bids, not putting up the bids, putting up the request for information that would then be paying with the token? Is that kind of the opposite side of the token's utility?
That's partly correct. Yeah, the consumer is paying for the opinion, but there's another, and it's a big aspect of what we design. It gets a little more complicated, so I'll just give you the very high level so we don't consume all the time.
We'll
here.
Save it a little bit. This is the preview. What's to come?
Yeah,
so if everyone wants to know the more intricate details, you can come to the meetup tomorrow night.
Right. The other big thing going on is the engines that are in there. These engines that I referred to, they're competing with each other, and it's what we referred to as a game theory design. So that's really where there's a lot of action going on with the token as well. Because some engines are saying it's malicious, others are saying it's benign. All of them are participating by putting money where their mouth is. It creates a pot, plus that token that came in from the consumer to incentivize them to take a look at the artifact to begin with. And then it's
almost like staking. It's proof of stake in a way. You're staking to ensure that you're trying to tell the truth. And if you tell the truth, well, at least based on what other people say, I assume it's some type of majority wins, then you are rewarded and you're not slashed.
Right. It's not a majority wins. There's a ground truth. Again, a longer discussion, but there's a ground truth that happens a few weeks later. All these pots, so to speak, are held in escrow until ground truth is established, and the industry already behaves that way. So it's not. There's nobody playing opinion. There. Yeah, we're just taking it. We're putting economic pressure at the moment where somebody needs to know if something's malicious or not by having everybody weigh in with real money. And the token works really well for that.
Awesome. Great. Well, Bill, thanks so much. Really looking forward to hearing your talk tomorrow at the meetup. And we've now got Steve here online. Steve, I think you're muted on Twitter Space, so feel free to unmute yourself. And as I was mentioning while you weren't quite chimed in, Bill here had actually met the co-founders, I don't know if it was co-founders, but other people from Polyswarm at the meetup in our offices years ago, and I was mentioning how all of Edge co-founders came together thanks to you organizing the original Bitcoin meetups, early days, 2013, 2014, and I have a lot to thank for that. So with that, I'd love to present Stephen, a good long-term friend, been in the Bitcoin space seems like forever. I learned a lot about the value proposition of Bitcoin, the values and ethics of Bitcoin from him. And as I'd mentioned, met a lot of the co-founders for the company through Steve and his early efforts back when the meetup was just a couple people. But Steve, if you want to give a quick 60-second intro on yourself and kind of your backstory into Bitcoin crypto.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Paul. Can you hear me okay right now?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Well, nice to be on here with both of you and looking forward to tomorrow night, the live meetup. That's going to be pretty awesome. But yeah, like you say, I'm kind of like all of you guys. We saw the opportunity and vision for Bitcoin early on. And my background, just to give you guys a little bit of that, and I'll make it very brief, is I've been a long time fan of honest money, liberty, freedom, Austrian economics. And was actually a fan of honest money a long time ago. So naturally, I was a gold bug, a silver bug. Many people on this call or at the meetup may or may not remember a digital currency right before Bitcoin. It was called eGold. Mm-hmm. And it was one of the first attempts. It was a gold-backed digital currency, but it had some flaws. And of course, they improved upon it, and out came Bitcoin. And so yeah, it's been a great ride, and it's been exciting. And then now, I've reached a point in my life where I'm able to focus on my creative side. And so that's what I'm doing now with the Minnaar Money Mystery Art and Treasure Hunt. So that's something I can tell you a little bit about if you like.
Yeah, let's kind of dive right into it. So I know this is your latest project. Steve, actually, you remind me of one of the earliest kind of innovators in the crypto space. You had many different ideas, some of which you kind of like you pushed forward with, some of which didn't pan out. But this is kind of the latest in your initiatives in the crypto space. So let's hear about Minnaar Money. You had talked about it with me, and I thought it was incredibly fascinating, especially for those that are interested in NFTs. This is in a way both unique, but you occasionally see light use in the art world for what you're doing with Minnaar Money. I've seen some examples of it, but I think this one's a bit more unique. So give an audience a little bit of a description of Minnaar Money and this kind of fascinating slice and dice idea of existing art and how you can, in a way, keep its non-fungibility, yet be able to distribute it to more people.
Absolutely, yes. So what I've done with this project is I've combined the elements of Bitcoin, also NFT marketplace, the art market, and collectibles. And so I've created something I think is a whole lot of fun. And basically what I've done is I'm creating 10,000 original artworks over the 10,000 days, so releasing one new artwork a day. So at my age, that'll take me to about the average life expectancy of an average male. So this is a lifelong project. And what's exciting about it is to make it fun is I call it mystery art because I'm on a 90-day back order now on these artworks, and that's slowly growing. And so when someone orders or purchases a Minnaar Money artwork, they don't know what they're going to get until they get it. And what makes it even more fun is on the back of each artwork is one of 24 clues that, if arranged in the right order, will unlock a hidden Bitcoin treasure. Right now, it's just a little over 1 Bitcoin. And so I've gamified it a little bit. And the reason we call it Minnaar Money is because any artwork, which I call a Minnaar, any Minnaar can be traded equally for any other Minnaar I produce now or in the future. So it's fully exchangeable. So a person can collect the art, collect the clues from the back of the art, and then trade those artworks back and forth to get more clues and see if they can crack that Bitcoin wallet and take that Bitcoin that's sitting there. Yes, it's very difficult, but it is possible. It's kind of like the lottery, but because it is somewhat random, a person could hit it today, or it might be 10,000 years from now before they hit it. So I like to tell people, have fun with the Minnaar Art Project as a way to build community, to trade with people. And I found it as a kind of a counterbalance to the digital world. It's a way to marry digital and physical. So my artworks are all physical, but the way I tie in the NFT aspect is I'm using a platform called Mentalio.com, which is a brand new platform that uses the Liquid network, which is a side chain of Bitcoin. And so it's exciting to be a part of that. And that site is in beta right now. But we should be seeing that roll out over this next week or so. But the way I'm using NFTs is slightly different. I use them as a digital certificate of authenticity. So it acts as further evidence of ownership of the physical item. So if someone is reselling one of my artworks, they can show as evidence that they possess that digital certificate of authenticity, which was originally issued from me. And then there is a chain of title that is evidenced by that token where we can show that that is an authentic artwork. And so that's the quick synopsis of that project, but hopefully I hit all the bases with that.
Got it. So everything you were talking about in the first half of your talk was actually all about physical art. And I think many people that might be into NFTs forget that, this is a project that actually does have its roots in true physical art as opposed to just purely digital art, which a lot of NFTs purely are. So there's a concept of physical art. When you talk about this hidden Bitcoin treasure, this actually sounds what to me is one of the more compelling things is the fact that the physical art has clues to unlock a private key, to accumulate a private key. So is there a private key, parts of a private key spread out across all of these, did you say 10,000 pieces of art that are going to be issued over the course of one per day?
Yeah, so the way that works, there's only 24 clues needed to unlock the Bitcoin wallet, similar to the 24 words in a passphrase. or a seed phrase. And so you don't have to wait till all 10,000 artworks are out there to find those. So those are in the wild already right now. And currently there's just shy of 500 artworks released. And so, but all 24 words are out there already, and clues, there's additional clues. So a person can get in right now and trade. And the idea, you can trade those artworks straight across. So we'll be having a lot of physical meetups and call them swap meets or collector meetups. As a matter of fact, right now, I actually have a show going on in San Diego for the whole month of January, a local library in La Mesa, which info can be found at the website. But people can go down there and look at about 20 different artworks of mine and have fun with that. So anyway, I'm really building in the physical, tangible aspect, but bringing in crypto as well, and then adding the NFT as a certificate of authenticity to marry them all together. And I hope someone finds the Bitcoin treasure right away. And if they do, what's fun about it is we'll just re-scramble those clues, create a new Bitcoin wallet, and start funding that again. So this is a project that can continue for generations. And, imagine if nobody cracks it in our lifetimes, what the value of that one Bitcoin will be 20 years from now, 30 years from now, or when our grandkids are looking at that artwork on the wall trying to figure it out. It'll give them, countless hours of entertainment trying to crack it. And so individual collectors and traders also can add to that balance. So if someone wants to up the ante a little bit, they can contribute a few Bitcoins here and there to that. And it'll be fun to see how that develops over the coming years.
Yeah, I can imagine people actually donating into I assume the public address of this Bitcoin wallet, which would inherently increase the value of potentially all of the artworks, because people will be wanting to purchase all the artworks in an attempt to unlock this treasure. So the clues, are these actual 24 word seeds, and is there a word in one of the pieces of artwork? And is it one you have to find, or is it just in the back? Give us an idea of not necessarily where it is, but what's the kind of difficulty in finding the clue, typical difficulty in finding a clue if you had one piece of art. Say you had one of the pieces of art. You said 500 are out there, but there's only 24 clues. So are there only 24 pieces of art that have the clue versus all 500? How does that work?
I'm glad you asked that, because every artwork has at least one of the 24 words. And so as you're trading those artworks, you might see the same one 2 or 3 times, but they're all put out and they're out there. So I see. So I'm not sure, you had another question there, I lost it, but I wanted to make sure I answered it. So
yeah, where would someone typically find the word? Is it kind of hidden inside the art, or is it just in the back? Is it sealed somewhere? Yeah, where would the word be in each of these pieces of art?
So I've got multiple layers. Basically, the word itself will be on the reverse of every artwork, so you don't really have to dig very far. But I do have, obviously we got to try and figure out what order to put those in. And without giving away too much, I include random clues here and there, which could be in the artwork image itself on the front. It might be somewhere in the back. Across all the artworks, I have a lot of other hidden Easter eggs, if you will. So just fun little things that can make the whole process even more fun. So I've got the whole gamification aspect built right into it.
Got it. So getting the words, as many people don't realize, a 24 word seed, you always say, don't ever show your seed, don't let anyone see the words to that seed. But people don't realize that it's not just the words, it's the order of the words that matters as well. And if you have all 24 words, but you don't know the order, it's still statistically impossible for you to guess. So you still need a clue as to what is the exact order. Otherwise, you effectively still don't have any of the money. And that sounds like one of the more difficult parts, because getting the clues of the order it's more nuanced, I presume, right? It might be, I assume there's a bit of an interpretive piece in the art that might give you a clue as to the word order. Maybe you've kind of crafted the words that make a bit of a phrase or a sentence that you have to get. I'm imagining what I would do if I was kicking off the art project.
Exactly, and so I won't give away much more because that's half the fun. But you're right. There's a lot of things people can do in there to, as I say, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So you can have fun with it, and I would like to see someone crack it sooner than later, but I'm not going to make it that easy. And but like I say, if someone did crack it, take the Bitcoin, we just reshuffle them and start anew, and so it is the kind of game that can be, the project can last forever until until quantum computing or something cracks, breaks Bitcoin.
Right. Got it. Okay, cool. Great. Where can people find out information about the Minnaar Money project right now, in case they want to look into it before the meetup tomorrow?
Absolutely. So my website, I have two links that will take you to the same place. There's StephenMinnaar.com, and Minnaar is spelled MINNAAR, Stevens with a V, or you can just go to MinnaarMoney.com and have fun with that. There's a lot of cool things we're doing. And one thing I'll mention, I don't know if you'll allow me a quick second, but one of the things I've done is a new mini-series. I have lots of mini-series in the artworks, but I recently acquired a Damien Hirst, The Currency artwork, which
we talked about this one when we had lunch. This is an exciting one. So I know this is probably maybe one of the big announcements or pieces of the meetup that I think people should be attending. So we'll keep that one a little more hidden. I'll at least say that definitely come. It won't be just talking about Minnaar Money and the artwork that Steve's pushing out, but a different project that I think is compelling, and I think you're going to be doing a bit of a ritual ceremony at the event itself. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I've a little bit to that. And what I will be focusing the talk on as well is for artists how to build a following, and also for collectors what to look for in a collectible market or an artist that you want to start collecting. So
I see.
So I want to give some ideas and tools for people who are interested in, on the collecting side, what to look for, and also artists out there who want to build their own project and get their artwork noticed.
Awesome. A lot of great information that's going to come out at the meetup tomorrow night. Awesome. Look forward to seeing you again, Steve, tomorrow. And let's then hear some closing thoughts from Bill. So Bill, anything that you want to share with the audience as far as what they can expect from the meetup tomorrow?
I'll explain the why. I mean, why did we build this, and what is the problem we're solving in the security industry? The very short answer is we're trying to make the world safer, and I'll explain in depth why we did that and how we ended up where we are today. You can go look at the product right now, or the marketplace that is.
Where can people find out about Polyswarm?
You can go to polyswarm.network. It's live, and there's lots of security experts in there and lots of users and consumers. It's we went live on mainnet a couple of weeks ago. It's operating.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah.
So it's pretty recently.
Yeah.
So
and you can read about the project and the history and the white paper and all of that at polyswarm.io.
Polyswarm.io. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Bill, Stephen, thanks so much for joining on this Twitter Spaces. Super look forward to hearing your chat tomorrow evening. I know there's going to be a lot to talk about, and for everyone else that's listening, whether this is the recorded version or live on Twitter Spaces, definitely come join in. We will attempt to. There's always some glitches when you attempt to live stream a meetup, so we're going to attempt to live stream it as well. But if not, we'll record the entire meetup so people can catch the details after the fact, or if you're not in San Diego. So definitely join us tomorrow night. If you need to find the details, look up the Bitcoin and Open Blockchain Meetup on meetup.com, and it'll be here at the Edge headquarters tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. in San Diego. Great. Thanks for joining, guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.